Hello everyone, friends. Today we're gonna make this kind of metal. As you can see on your screens, this is our lamp. The scene is already set up. Let's take a look at what we have here. Of course, let's start from scratch. What do we have here? So this is the lamp, this object. After that, we create our camera. Then comes the dome light, which illuminates the overall scene. It sets the general overall tone of light and shadow in our frame. This is how it looks. And if, for example, we go into the dome light, let's lower the quality. Here, if we go into the dome light, and we see that the intensity is set to 0.1, so it doesn't illuminate our object too much because we're mainly using other light sources. We've also reduced the saturation for our background so that it doesn't add color but is simply black and white. All right, next let's take a look at our light fixture that's shining with blue light at a low intensity. Well, you could say this is our main light that colors our lamp. You know what I'm thinking? Let's for now remove the material from the lamp. And now we see that it's kind of dull and uninteresting. Next, let's add, for example, a background. It's just a playing. Let's add a light on the right side. It gives us, let's see, this kind of effect. It's created using a texture. Here it is applied. Whoops. And what else do we have here is another light. It specifically lights up these bolts of mine because the main light wasn't enough. There you can see it. We also have this light here. Now, what does it do? I don't remember anymore. In order to illuminate our, so to speak, wire. But since we're aiming for more realism, we won't make the intensity that strong. It actually looks beautiful, don't you think? I don't know about you, but I like it. But since our realism is more or less like a lamp in a blue studio, we'll bring it back. And one more relight, this is also for our this wire. Alright, let's move on to the lamp's actual material. How did I make it? But before that, there's something else I want to show you. You know what? I want to show you the detailing that's been done here. Let's take a look. We need to choose an angle so it doesn't get overexposed. So if we look here, for example, we can see how highly detailed this part is. This is basically a chrome material, you could say metal, and here's how it's made. This is our metal with one turned off. I connected my own roughness. This is the texture that's applied. Also, friends, I want to mention that this entire project will be available on my Patreon. You'll be able to download it and explore it yourself, find out how everything works. You'll also get the model and the textures as well. For those who are just starting out or want to get the project, this will be very useful for you. There you go. And for me, it's very gratifying, so the link to my Patreon is below in the description. I also made basically almost a duplicate of our main metal here, but I tweaked it a bit, and thanks to our adjustments, we got these kinds of edges. So it looks like it's chipped, worn by life, as if it's old. And we have these bare patches of metal here and there. This is done using this curvature mode. And if we just go into it, we'll see what it does. It creates a white border here and fills everything else with black. And by blending, we can achieve this kind of texture. If you want, I can record a separate detailed review on this. Let's break down how this works, specifically these particular aspects. Now, let's move on to our main object tool lamp. It's a bit more complex. Let's apply it to our lamp and see what's happening here. Let's give it a little time to render. What do we see here? Here we see these little marks, scratches that appear on the lamp over time. I'll show you how that's done. We also have this kind of texture here. It's as if the lamp is dirty, imperfect, rough. We also have a bump map here. Let's go into the texture and see what we have here. This is the kind of miracle I created. Let's start small. Start from the beginning. I'll explain to you how this works. At the very beginning, we have this kind of texture. Let's click here. And after that, we'll see that only this node, this tag is applied to our lamp. We have a color. It's just a simple color apps that's applied to the color. It's the same as here, where we can set a different color for ourselves. Next we have roughness. This is a texture that by default is mapped incorrectly, but thanks to the fact that we have triplanar mapping, we can make it so that even without UV unwrapping, we get a nice overlay on our lamp. We also have a formula that lets us set the size. If we set it to 0 here, it will be larger accordingly. The smaller the value, the larger the texture. That's it. Alright. We also have a ramp, which simply helps us make our wear texture more or less pronounced, you could say. After that, we have a bump map here, which also uses a texture. Let's take a look at it. And using the same principle, I applied triplanar mapping to our object.
Which, damn, you can't see it. Let's, as an option, take a closer look. This is the kind of bulge that gets added to our lamp. Let's wait a little bit. Bump map. I think by now you already know what that is. By the way, in previous videos I explained this, and it's the same method of creation. Actually, you can just do it not with this texture, but simply with a texture. What was it? I forgot. With a noise texture. Here. Now we can see what's happening here. Here it is with it, and here it is without it. Let's wait a bit and see the difference. On the left, it's with it applied, and on the right we can see how it's being rendered. Let's see what's happening. And here it is without it. We can see a clear difference. This adds more realism, and honestly, I recommend using it in every project. What's next? Where does this texture go? It goes into the blender material. This is the same texture, but now, guys, pay attention. What are we doing? Why? Why do we need a duplicate? This is to create these kinds of dents. It's as if it got hit somewhere or something like that. How does this work? So this is the same as before, just a duplicate. We set the color that we want for the dents. I set white here because, in fact, this is a painted lamp that got chipped somewhere. The paint came off and these colors are left. But actually, we can choose any color. For example, purple. But that wouldn't look very realistic. That's why the color here is like this. It's just a duplicate, like before. Like right here. We have a bump blender. Here we have, well, basically a bump map that goes into the negative. This is because usually the bump goes outward. But if you set it to -0.008, you'll see that it goes inward. That's exactly how it works. Dent. And actually, that's useful. And I was working on the project yesterday. So now I'm even a little confused. A bump map is simply, you could say, a bump blender. It's used to mix our texture so that it's more varied, not just a single texture, but two textures. And it just blends them together. So this is, and how does the material blender work? The first material is the main one, meaning, nice. It's the main one. It simply is responsible for the whole lamp. The second material is the one we create. So we're creating metallic material. Let's just take a look at it now. It looks kind of scary. Well, that's how it is. And here we have the blend color. It determines that in those areas where we have the blend color, this texture, meaning right here. Now let's turn on solo mode and see. It mainly appears right here. Let's look at it through the frame. So, the white areas are where our texture, the silvery one, will appear. And this is how our main texture is created. After that, I mixed in something else here. Oh, what was I doing here yesterday? Let's take a look together. What's going on here? I realized that this is our metal. I remember now what this is. This is using the same principle. We end up creating a material blender. And what do we do with it? We do something unusual. This is so that on our edges, here you can see it well, not on our edges, this kind of worn effect appears. Just like I mentioned with our previous object, where our lamp bends, where it turns. This is the same thing, it's just much smaller here. And that's basically all there is to how it's done. And as you may have noticed, it's not very difficult. If you really take the time to understand and know what comes after what, you can figure it out. Just devote more time to it. And also, analyze projects. For example, you can download this project using the link in the description. It would make me very happy. Thank you for watching this video. Goodbye, everyone.